Hi, it's Megan. I got the new Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette. My daughter is actually a huge Tarte fan, and I like Tarte a lot too. I really particularly, especially like the Tarte round palette. So this one has a snake theme to it. And what they say, this is limited edition. It is a colored clay eye and cheek palette for day and night looks. So they say it's inspired by the Rainforest Deep Orchid hues. It has everything you need to create sultry and sophisticated day to night looks. And it's infused with colored clay, which is kind of cool, which naturally color corrects as it supports oil control. So it provides longer wear and truer color payoff. They say the ingredients are from the mountains of Brazil. They even out and smooth the skin, while the velvety formula glides on and delivers rich color while settling into fine lines and wrinkles. So what I read somewhere is that, let's say, rose clay soothes sensitive skin around the eye, vanilla clay helps absorb oil and keep pigment in place, and gold clay adds balance and moisture. So what do I think? So anyway, I love this. It's so cute. I have the Aqua Lilies palette, which is like I just love. That's from last summer, not this summer, last summer. This is, I think, fall 2014. So they have the sheet, which is all dirty, which has the colors on it, which is kind of nice. And then this is the palette. So you have a highlighter, bronzer, blush, and then 6 eyeshadows. So the highlighter is in Champagne, the bronzer is in Park Avenue Princess. So I'll just get those over with first. I put the bronzer on as a slight contour, like this, and under the cheek, and then I dotted the highlighter here. The highlighter to me is a little bit chalky, glimmery, shimmery, but obviously shimmery, glimmery, and maybe a little bit yellow. It's like a gold champagne. A little bit much for me, but it's pretty. Park Avenue Princess, this does show up better there, is right there. It's like just the workhorse kind of a product. It's not too yellow, it's not too orange, it's matte, and I actually prefer matte bronzers because I use them for contour and I use bronzer every day. So it's a great formula. There's nothing that I could come up with to say bad about Park Avenue Princess. It's not too dark for most people. It can be built up, or if you're really dark, it's probably too light, but I think it's a great product, so nothing bad on that. The blush right here, does it have a name? Unleashed. They call it a nude rose. I think it's nude pink personally, but this is a good, it's right there, and I put that on my cheekbones right there. This is a great, perfect, easy to wear nude sort of a look, natural sort of a look for every day. I think for most people it's kind of not too warm, not too cool, more in the neutral, slightly warm pink tone. So I think most people can wear it. Whenever they say nude, I always feel like they mean they add just a tiny bit of brown, and I actually like blush with a tiny bit of brown. Matte, so it's easy to add shimmer on the rest of your face and not look overdone. Lasts about 6-7 hours on me. I, again, have nothing bad to say about it. I don't think Tarte disappointed on this. I really like this palette a lot. So there are a few negative things I'll say, but not a lot. Okay, now we get to the negative. Okay, first of all, I love Tarte eyeshadows. I really do. I don't think they're the most pigmented, but they're so beautiful. Some of my favorite, especially browns, tend to be Tarte. They just have these really subtle but flattering colors. They can sometimes be a little chalky and soft, but I find with an eyeshadow primer, and I usually wear an eyeshadow primer anyway, they last amazingly well. So I am a fan of Tarte eyeshadows. Sometimes they can also be a little bit light and a little bit unpigmented, and they also maybe don't wear as well as some other brands. Sometimes they wear very well, and they are definitely pigmented, but they're a natural brand, so they will get outperformed on that front sometimes, and that's just part of what happens with Tarte. On the plus side with Tarte, you get a lot of really beautiful natural looks that I think are stunning. So, but here's something that disappoints. The first, let's see, Dare to Explore, it's a beige pink, and I think, okay, forget it. There's my swatch. You can't see it. Well, actually, neither can I. And when I have outdoor pictures, when I see the picture, it looks more to me like I have 5 eyeshadows instead of 6. This actually is a little bit, it's got a little bit of a taupey brown to it, but it's one of those shades that Tarte occasionally does with the mattes that really don't have a lot of pigment. it looks better on than swatched. If you use it like I used it right under the eyebrow, it just really smooths out the skin tone. Doesn't look like you have on a lot of makeup there. You look very natural, and it just kind of evens that out. It's really pretty. So I still like the shade, but it's definitely a very subtle shade. If you want to see pigmentation, you will not be happy with it, but I'm happy with it. There are two I'm not so happy with, but I actually am happy with it. I think it's a perfect shade for what it does, but it's not really going to swatch very well. The next shade I love, it's this one right here, and it's not the same inside as it is outside. Outside it's so pretty, and I put that on my lid. This is Mega Mauve. It's a plum mauve, and this has like all of this amazing different color shifting going on outside, but not like some of the really cool effects that some brands have. This one looks a little bit more natural. So that's just on my lid. And I basically have taken just kind of a harder powder brush and just put it, the light color up here, this one right here, and then I lined it with this color, and then I came back with the next darker color and lined part way, and then put that in the crease. So that next darker color is Plum Away With Me, a dark plum. That right there. And this is definitely like, it's the darker shade. It's like a dark reddish brownish plum. And very pretty color for blue eyes and for a lot of other colors. But I put that in the crease very softly. This you can really build up. This color you could make a dramatic, smoky, plummy, really gorgeous if you wanted to. It's a great color for that. Next one up to No Gold. This is a gold. And this is a little bit yellow. It's very metallic. It's very shimmery. Not my favorite gold, but it's fine. It's not my favorite gold because it's a little too yellow for me, but I think it goes beautifully with the purple. So what I had done here is I just put a little bit in the crease, and you can see, while this shade actually does build up really dark if you want it to, and if you wet these shades, they build up a lot darker as well. They're actually quite pretty used wet. I can also just, because I don't like how yellow it is, I can also just, I jotted a little bit here, I can just put a touch of it on and it looks really natural. So as much as it's not my favorite gold, it ended up being a lot more useful than I expected. So I do actually like that shade, is the short answer to that. The next one is, what's this? Tangled Up in You. And this to me is, this is a color Tarte does a lot, and it's fine. This one and the next one, I felt like they just weren't that pigmented. So you see how splotchy that is? Usually I try to do one swipe with a swatch just because I think that's fair. Like, you shouldn't see the perfect swatch. You should see what you're really getting. This one I have to try to build up, and it's a great color. Tarte does a lot of these colors. It's kind of like a dusty brown. It's a little bit dustier, a little bit less taupe than some of the ones that I've seen them do in the past, but it is patchy. It applies okay if you're careful on your lids, but it's not the best. These two last mattes are not the best. The last one is Don't Turn a Brown. It's a dark brown, and that was one swipe, and you can see how patchy that is. It's just not, it doesn't apply that well. It's like a blackish brown. It's cool toned. And this again you can use to create a really beautiful smoky look, but I have to be really careful when applying it just because it does act patchy like that. It's the one before, the taupe, is a little bit patchy. This one is quite patchy. It's not very patchy, however. And wet, it actually is a great liner, so that's where it works better. So this is it. There's a mirror on top, which I'm trying to keep off camera. What do I think overall? I think this is a great, great palette. The last palette they did, which we have, the Tarte Be Magnificent Amazonian Clay Color Eye and Cheek. My complaint with that one was that it was too light. My complaint with this one is that it's too dark. So I guess the next one that they do is going to be right in between, hopefully. So I just thought this one had too many dark colors. But if you have the two palettes, they are the perfect complement to each other. And this one you can actually create some really beautiful smoky looks for fall and mix in some lighter shades as well. So I do really like this palette. I love the colors I have on my eyes right now, and I love Park Avenue Princess. I love the blush. I don't think you can go wrong if you like this kind of product. This is not the Tarte product that will sell those who are not Tarte fans, in my opinion. But if you are a fan of this type of product, you will love it. That's it. If you have comments, I would love to hear them. Try not to get these to be too long. Subscribe on YouTube, and then I also have a novel on YouTube called Masks, which is about makeup and the masks we wear, and I've got 6 chapters up. I'll put a link to those in the description.